Hello, everybody. My name is Mark Farmer, and it's a pleasure for me to share my experience while interning at PCL Construction this past summer. I interned in Los Angeles, California, and throughout the summer, I was mentored by Arturo Gonzalez. Art actually came from the trades on his way into the safety field. He was a plasterer who found interest in the safety aspect of the job and eventually built a career out of it with PCL Construction. This bottom picture here is a picture of Art and I on my last day at the job. Next, a little bit about myself. Because I can't present to you in person, I want you to know a little bit about my background. So, first and foremost, I am a senior at Central Washington University here in Ellensburg. I grew up about 80 miles west of here in North Bend, Washington. I'm a transfer student from Humboldt State University, and some of my hobbies include golf, flag football, reading, and I also officiate intramural flag football and basketball leagues here at Central Washington. This bottom picture is a picture of me officiating a flag football game here at Central, and that top picture is a picture of me, my two older brothers, and my mother on a vacation to visit my oldest brother Joe in Chicago. Next, a little overview of PCL Construction. So PCL is a large employee-owned general contractor. They perform work throughout the United States, Canada, Australia, and the Caribbean. Their United States headquarters is located in Denver, Colorado. And their mission statement for their safety department is simple. It is just zero incidents. That is also their goal for each one of their projects. Is safe for the whole span of their working life and beyond. That top picture is a picture of me leading a district HSE walk throughout the Lot 15 site. So my specific position and responsibilities included, so my job title was the HSE intern for the UCLA Lot 15 Residence Hall. My specific responsibilities were to oversee the safety in this south building. If you direct your attention to the top right picture, this south building is where I spent most of my time this summer. So within that building, I would conduct hazard identification and control. So I would reach out to subcontractors who were coming onto the site or were eventually going to be on the site, and I would create JHAs for their scope of work and work with them to identify all the hazards that go into their job and find controls for those specific hazards. Next, I would audit and create pre-job safety instructions for different tasks on the job site. So a pre-job safety instruction is just a pre-task plan, but it's PCL's version. So I would walk around every single day and I would communicate with workers to ensure that they have filled out their pre-job safety instructions for that day and for that task and for that job location. And then I would audit those to ensure that they have found all controls for every single hazard for that task. Next, I would conduct safety inspections, so I would walk the entire site on a daily basis. The site was a 10-level, 1,200 room residence hall. B hazard is very dangerous as well. It presents significant dangers, just not quite as much as an A hazard. And finally, a C hazard is a minor hazard on the job site. We call those low-hanging fruits. So throughout our safety inspections, we would start with the A hazards or high-hanging fruits, and we would work our way down to the low-hanging fruits. Next, I would conduct safety trainings on the job site. With COVID going on, I was not able to conduct large-scale safety trainings to all of the workers. There was about 450 workers on the job site any given day, but there was capacity issues within the Los Angeles County, so I was not able to do that to all the workers, but my management team on the site wanted me to get some experience delivering those safety trainings, so they allowed me to present them to them. Some of the safety trainings that I delivered were fall protection trainings, scaffolding trainings, environmental stormwater pollution trainings, and silica trainings. Next, I would monitor compliance, so I would just walk around the site and review our paperwork to ensure that we are compliant with all company standards, uh, OSHA standards, and Cal OSHA standards. Lastly, I would assist the site safety team as needed with whatever tasks that need be, and I would deliver safety orientations to all new coming people on the site for the first time. We had two different versions of safety orientation. We had a full about hour-long orientation, which got you onto the site indefinitely, and we also had a short orientation, which was about 15 minutes long, which I delivered to get people on who are just visiting for one day. It was a 24-hour pass onto the site. This bottom right picture is a picture of me presenting orientation to some new trade workers coming into the site for the first time. We usually would conduct these trainings to a large amount of people on the site, but with the gathering restrictions, I was only able to do it to 6 people at a time. So usually I would do it like 2 or 3 safety orientations every single day. Next, some challenges of this internships were just terminology. Really coming into the construction field, the terminology sounded like a new language. You know, there's an acronym for everything, whether it's SRL, whether it's JJ, whether it's PSI, you know, really just getting to know all the lingo around the construction industry and all the lingo that goes into the construction process and the names for all the tools and the machinery on the site. Next is just Cal OSHA. For anybody who knows anything about California, it's that they have a very strict OSHA and they have a lot of regulations. So just kind of getting comfortable with what the requirements were on a California construction site and in Los Angeles County construction site as well. Next is this COVID-19. I've mentioned my ability to communicate with people as I usually would. On the site, we always had to wear face masks, so it was kind of difficult to get a person-to-person, you know, relationship going when you can't see their mouth or you can't see them talk or you can't really hear them speak. So just overcoming that, you kind of had to over-communicate to make the communication feel like it was a little bit more normal and like there was not a pandemic going around. Next, some successes I had. I did have some successes. It wasn't all difficult. I mean, so the first was just working within a team. I've played team sports my entire life, so working within a team is nothing that's brand new to me. And the job site team on the Lot 15 project was very family-like. Everybody got along fantastic. There was a lot of team camaraderie. We knew there was going to be some difficulties with COVID-19, so we all got together, socially distanced, and we just came up with ideas on how we can kind of overcome those difficulties. And we all agreed that, you know, the biggest thing we need to overcome within this pandemic is the communication that it lacks. So just over communicating was a way that we found a solution to a lot of our issues now. But public speaking is something that I initially wasn't super comfortable with going into the internship, but doing those couple orientations every single day and just getting up and getting in front of a big group of people, whether it was delivering a safety training or orientation or a safety stand-down meeting every Tuesday, you know, just getting up in front of people and talking, and that just made me feel a little bit more comfortable with the public speaking aspect of the safety profession. Lastly was the PCL, health, safety, and environmental operating procedures. So those are just the PCL company standards that are in place on all PCL sites. So of course I did not know all the PCL HSEOPs going into the job, so I really just took it upon myself to make sure that I became comfortable with all of those operating procedures as quickly as possible. So manual PCL was really nice. They had a College of Construction set up, so they had e-learnings, which was just a video. It would take you through, you know, the basics of the operating procedure, and then you would fill out a quiz after, or take a quick quiz. So that was really helpful, was just getting to know what the PCL standards were. Next, some lessons learned. The number one was just be adaptable. I mean, nobody can predict a pandemic, but you got to be able to adapt to it when it comes. So just being able to, evolve as the safety industry evolves and evolve as the world evolves, and not get left behind was a big thing that I needed to learn. Really coming into it, you know, I wasn't quite sure of what the challenges COVID was going to bring were. And so just picking up on those, asking questions, being open minded and being able to adapt to the job was one of the biggest lessons that I learned throughout the internship. Next was never stop learning. That kind of plays into it, was just always ask questions, never get complacent, always feel like you can go into work every single day and get a little bit better. Next, I've already talked about this, but it's just over communicate. With the barriers COVID put up for us, you needed to over communicate to get that regular communication stream going through the team oriented environment. Next is just to empathize. So, a lot of times the safety person is not the most popular person on the job site to the trade workers, so just being able to go up to people and understand their perspective of things, and being open-minded and communicating with them, realizing not everything has to be a confrontation. It can be a conversation instead. It can be a very pleasant one at that. So just empathizing with them, realizing, uh, they might be going through something that I'm not completely aware of. So just have fun, with COVID. A lot of times it wasn't the most peaceful environment on the job site. People are stressed out, people were tense. So just going in there every single day and bringing that positive mindset and being passionate about keeping people safe every single day and making sure they go home safe and they have a safe working life throughout. With that zero incident slogan in mind was a huge part of the job. And lastly, just have fun. It's fun to keep people safe. People, I think they appreciate someone who cares about them and has their best interest in mind. And so I wanted to make sure that was me throughout the internship. Next, just some advice for some future SHM graduates would just be start now. If you know what industry you want to go into, do your research and get to know a little bit about it before you start your internship. Whether if you want to go into construction, get on YouTube and look up some videos or some time lapses of what the construction process looks like. Just start educating yourself on that industry now, because that'll give you a big step ahead of everybody else going into the same industry when you get started. Lastly, questions. I know you can't really ask me any questions now, so I put my email right there. Feel free to email me if you do have any questions. I'm happy to answer them. I'll be responding to them in a timely manner. To finish this presentation off, this picture on the right side, one of the cooler days at the internship, was I was able to climb a tower crane, which was not fun for me to start because I am terrified of heights. But once you get started and you get to the top, it was actually pretty incredible. At the top, you got a full view of the whole Los Angeles area, and I mean, not everybody can say they climbed a tower crane. So it was really a great experience overall, and I'm happy to hear if you guys have any questions. So that's about it. Thank you for